You are watching Newsreaders TV. I am Jessica Child.
Hello, I'm John Talks.
Norway. Norway provides an economics lesson for capitalist countries. When capitalism seemed on the verge of collapse last fall, Kristin Halvorsen, Norway's socialist finance minister, and a longtime free market skeptic, did more than crow. The global financial crisis has brought low the economies of just about every country on Earth. But not Norway. Instead of spending its riches lavishly, it passed legislation ensuring that oil revenue went straight into its sovereign wealth fund, state money that is used to make investments around the world. Now its sovereign wealth fund is close to being the largest in the world, despite losing 23% last year because of investments that declined. Unlike Dublin or Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, where work has stopped on half-built skyscrapers and stilled cranes dot the skylines, Oslo retains a feeling of modesty reminiscent of a fishing village, rather than a Western capital, with the recently opened $800 million Opera House one of the few signs of opulence. During the time of economic growth, Norway has thrived by going its own way. When others splurged, it saved. When others sought to limit the role of government, Norway strengthened its cradle-to-grave welfare state.
European Parliament elections. Only 34% of the 380 million or so eligible Europeans indicated they would probably vote, while 15% said they would not vote under any circumstances, according to the latest Eurobarometer poll, conducted last October and November. Europeans will choose a parliament for the seventh time in 30 years, but turnout has fallen with each enlargement of the Union in each election, from 62% in 1979 to 48% in 2004. The election in early June seems likely to be remembered for two things: how well French parties did in an anxious period of economic recession, and how few Europeans bothered to vote. Experts say that those who do bother, and will come to elections, will vote for the more radical elements. Many Europeans are dissatisfied with the governing structure of EU, and especially the role of the parliament. Like no other, EU Parliament cannot initiate legislation, and it is one of the few democratic parliaments in the world that does not elect a government, operating a Byzantine multinational party structure instead. And because the election is done by party lists, most Europeans cannot identify their member of the European Parliament. Most people vote in large geographical regions for which voters have no affinity, because these regions do not mirror existing political or regional structures.
Moscow. The Russian Prime Minister, Vladimir Putin, has been accused of plotting his return as president after the Kremlin announced plans to strip judges of the right to elect the head of the country's powerful constitutional court. After serving consecutive four-year terms, Mr. Putin was obliged to step down as president last year. He became prime minister instead, and shoehorned his long-term protege, Dmitry Medvedev, into his old job. Although he is legally allowed to run as president once again during elections in 2012, Mr. Putin reignited speculation of an earlier return over the weekend, after he appeared to call Mr. Medvedev's future into question. The loss of the judiciary's last quasi-independent position would remove any lingering potential for a legal challenge should Mr. Putin make an early presidential comeback.
Eurovision 2009, Moscow. Thursday, at 2100 hours set, the second semi-final of the 2009 Eurovision Song Contest will take place. The show will be broadcast live from the Olympiyskiy Arena in Moscow, with 19 countries participating. You can watch the show online on eurovision.tv. These will be the participants of the second semi-final: Croatia, Ireland, Latvia, Serbia, Poland, Norway, Cyprus, Slovakia, Denmark, Slovenia, Hungary, Azerbaijan, Greece, Lithuania, Moldova, Albania, Ukraine, Estonia, the Netherlands.
These are all news for today. It was Jessica Child and
me, John Talks. Bye-bye.